Still buried under snow, but we'll give them another month or two. Thank you all for being here, blessing us with your presence. My name is Sally Joe. I'm a co-minister here at Interfaith Community Sanctuary, along with Imam Jamal Rahman, who's been greeting you at the door. We are so delighted today to be welcoming our guests the first week of every month since we opened our doors as Interfaith Community Church many, many years ago, back in 1992 or something, I think it was. This building has been as a spiritual center since 1890. It's a historic building, the oldest wood frame church building in King County. And that's been always been a church ever since its founding. And we have been here for some time, and we have been welcoming a guest every first Sunday of every month since we have been the stewards of this building. And we're going to be very happy in introducing you to our guests this Sunday, Shriram Paramesh and Brenda Neth, who will be presenting from Heartfulness Institute, and many of their friends and colleagues are here. We welcome you all, and we're so blessed for your presence. We will begin this morning with some practices that we do at the beginning of every service to kind of ground ourselves into who we are and where we are in space, in this beautiful universe, in this planet Earth, our mother, whom we call our mother, and which we call home. So I'm going to ask Chris to invite our ancestors into our gathering and honor our first peoples. Thank you, Chris.
Good morning. Thank you, Sally Joe, and my name is Chris Rapsevich. I'm honored to welcome our ancestors today, as I've done many times before, and I hope to do it many, many times in the future as needed. And I often look for inspiration on this. Unfortunately, I rarely find it, so I usually go with a standard sort of, greet our ancestors and also descendants. But today, the lovely Facebook sent me a poem by Margaret Mead, who you may remember was an anthropologist. And her poem is called Remember Me. To the living, I am gone. To the sorrowful, I will never return. To the angry, I was cheated. But to the happy, I am at peace. And to the faithful, I have never left. I cannot speak, but I can listen. I cannot be seen, but I can be heard. So you stand upon the shore, gazing at a beautiful sea. As you look upon a flower and admire its simplicity, remember me. Remember me in your heart, your thoughts, and your memories of the times we loved, of the times we cried, of the times we fought, the times we laughed. For if you always think of me, I will have never gone. Margaret Mead. I also like to think of that as a continuum, and briefly, in addition to those beloved who have come before us, let's think of those who are coming after us, whether they be in our family, whether they be other young people that we come in contact with. Let's all consider our ancestors and our descendants in our hearts for a moment. Be with us now. And I'd also like to acknowledge that this land is originally native land and still remains native land. They struggled, they sacrificed, they had many, many journeys over this land, up and down coasts, across the oceans. Let us think of the native peoples who lived here and continue to live here. We could cite the Duwamish peoples, the Coast Salish peoples. The Duwamish people particularly, I like to cite when I do this, this honoring, because somehow in the many, many tribes, there are over 500 tribes recognized throughout the United States by the U.S. government, somehow the Duwamish have not been so acknowledged. So to help that effort, we make a contribution to them through their website, realrentduwamish.org. And as I often say, going to visit their a memorial to their ancestral home on the Marginal Way, right near Harbor Island, is their longhouse. Beautiful space, wonderful for community. They have many, many events there that I think I would hope you'd find some value in. So some time back, one of our teachers, whose name is Siswinkle Laura Boucher, taught us a way to offer up a prayer to the divine. I'm continuing to keep my hand over my heart, and if you want to do the same, please do that. Think of all the joys and sorrows that we brought to this time. Think of what's helped us on this journey and what's maybe tried to be in our way. I'd like to offer all of that up to the Creator. I'm gonna, after I take a minute, I'm gonna raise my hand up to, excuse me, to Creator. He or she may consider our offering and give us a gift in our hand. So one more time, we're focusing on our hearts, and as I lift my hand up, I'm going to say the sacred word, "Oh," and you can join me if you'd like. Oh. Blessed be. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And we have one other very important practice that we have at the beginning here of the service, which is our offering to the Divine Feminine. And in our understanding, everybody has their own understanding of what the Divine Feminine might mean. In the Chinese system, yin and yang balance each other out, and they're forces in the universe that are in every human being. And our late Karen Lindquist taught us that the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine are also in every human being. And we have our yin and yang in our energies inside of us, and we would like to strive to keep them always in balance. And of course, divinity has no gender whatsoever, but that means it has all genders and no gender. So we like to just kind of remind ourselves and honor the fact that no gender is missing from the divine energy. And so we have a little candle up here that Rashid lit for us this morning, and a little picture of Mother Mary, who is one of the many representatives of divine feminine in the visible world. And I'm going to read to you actually it could be a poem or a song actually from the Mira, who was a living saint or a spiritual person in the Hindu tradition, I believe. And it's called Singing Your Name. And I want to mention that in this past month of February especially, we've been focusing on the energy of the artist in each one of us. The artistic energy that finds expression in humanity, it finds expression in the natural world, and of course in divinity. And this is why I chose this poem or song for today. Singing your name day and night, it echoes in my mind all the time. O Krishna, I am the dust of your feet. How can I lift my voice in your praise? Singing your name heals all wounds and guards the mind against selfish thoughts. I am armed with the arrow of your name. Fixed on the bowstring of my heart, I wear the armor of your glory, and I sing of your life and divine deeds. My body is a musical instrument on which my mind plays songs of love. To awaken my soul from sleep, I sing and dance before the Lord, waiting for the door to open. Now, isn't that a beautiful way to awaken our creative energies within ourselves, within each other, and within divinity? We can sing a song to the Lord. And I know that our dear friend Brenda is going to be offering us a lot of music today to help us get in touch with that musical aspect of ourselves. And she will be sharing how that music has been a part of her spiritual journey and continues to be a part of her spiritual message. I'd also like to introduce Shriram, and I want to point out to you that both Shriram and Brenda are visiting us today, as I had said earlier, as part of our guest worship. And they are coming here with actually many friends of theirs from the Heartfulness Institute. They were here a couple of months ago and did a little program right after the service introducing the Heartfulness Institute to us. And they also did a short meditation after one of our Sunday services a couple of months ago. And Shriram is a certified Heartfulness meditation trainer who offers spiritual training under the guidance and authority of Kamleshti Patel Daiji, global guide of the Heartfulness Institute. Rooted in the Raja Yoga tradition, his work invites individuals and communities to explore inner stillness, compassion, and collective harmony through direct meditative experience. He also works in the technology sector and brings contemplative practice into modern professional life. And the website is there if you want to look up more about the Institute. And Brenda Neth is actually a longtime friend of Interfaith Community Sanctuary. She's been here before in many different times in the past as a parishioner. She's also a heartfulness practitioner and a musician with over 30 years of experience. Her flute playing creates contemplative space and supports meditative depth and reflection, while her piano and voice echo inspiration and hope in alignment with heartfulness principles. She's worked as a professional storyteller for over 20 years, weaving her musical compositions with world folklore. And again, I know for those of you who are regular parishioners here at Interfaith Community Sanctuary, you know that a lot of our focus for the year for 2026 has been on this concept of engaged Buddhism and collective awakening in beloved community. And the first 3 months of the year, January, February, and now March, we've been focusing on the energy of the meditator, the energy of the artist, and the energy of the warrior, which are all energies that all human beings have within. Isn't it interesting that that song I wrote mentioned all three of those energies in the poem of the Divine Feminine? And so this work we're basing on a book by Thich Nhat Hanh, and he is presenting this not as a particularly strictly a Buddhist philosophy, but as a spiritual philosophy that we need to understand better. And it's particularly around the concept of interbeing, interconnectivity, how we are all interconnected with each other, with fellow human beings, with nature and the natural world, and with Mother Earth, and even with the cosmos, with everything that exists. And of course, that also puts us in interbeing with the divine as well. So I'm sure that our presenters will help enlighten us even more on how we can dive into the energy of the meditator and the energy of the artist and the energy of the warrior, and keep coming into better and better touch with how we are interconnected. So I'm going to turn it over to Brenda next, and I'll put this up on the... Oh, you've got a microphone there. That's good. Do you need this to sing into?
Yeah, I mean, no, he's going to move it.
Oh, okay.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and see us today. I will be presenting 4 pieces. The first is a flute piece that is generated from my heart. It's pretty much an improvisational. One of the things that happens with me is that I feel spontaneity in my music as well as a melody beforehand. So what comes out today will be new and exciting for me, But the theme behind it is that of forgiveness. For us to be together, we cannot have resentment to create the barrier. It takes a warrior to forgive, it takes an artist to love, and it takes a meditator to integrate all these into the whole, the wholesomeness of what we can be and what we can hear as we learn to forgive ourselves, most importantly. For if we don't, that blocks us from the divine, from the spirit of the heart that is always light. And if we cannot forgive ourselves, how do we forgive others? So let's see what my heart comes up with today. The next two pieces that I'm doing an instrumental that's called A Companion, and it was originally written for the Seattle Animal Shelter in honor of the companions that I found there when I was dealing with the grief of the loss of my mother. The companionship, the understanding of those creatures was a salve for me. It was a companion of a journey through those times of sorrow and of loss. And animals still give me that sense of peace. They give me that sense of artistry. They are the warriors in silence and in sound. And it is upon them that I can meditate to find my joy. So this piece will be called The Companion. The second piece is called The Sacred Smile, which was originally played here about 20 years ago, before it went through, and I went through my transformation with Heartfulness. It started out as an original love song, but now it moved into a love song for the divine who is within us, that lover that is inside of us that we love. Sacred Smile. And then the last piece is an inspirational called Don't Fear the Mountain. Mountains that we climb through meditation. We find the artistry of how to move through our mountains and up beyond the peaks of those mountains to find peace, to find love, and to learn the artistry as well as the science of healing and meditation.
Alrighty. So let's all take a deep breath in and out. And thank you, Brenda. That was a very soulful rendition. So good morning, brothers and sisters, to all who have gathered here and to those who are joining us from the cyberspace. Welcome. My name is Shriram, and I am a certified Heartfulness meditation trainer. And Heartfulness is a non-profit organization. We are present in 160 plus countries. We're around 20,000 trainers offering meditation services to everyone free of charge. And our sole aim is to sensitize, transform one heart at a time by enabling people to tune in, make them experience, and then using that experience, allowing them to transform and live their life to their highest potential. So very simply put, that's what the goal of Heartfulness is. And first things first, to those of our brothers and sisters who are observing the sacred month of Ramadan, Ramadan Mubarak. May people, those who are fasting, may it bring the prayers, may it bring a lot of peace, love, clarity, and compassion in your hearts. And for those Hindu brothers and sisters, happy Holi. It's coming up on March 4th. It's a festival of colors, welcoming spring, and celebrating the love that Mother Radha had for Lord Krishna. So today's topic is shared separate self to a shared heart, and experiencing interbeing through meditation. Conceptually, we understand this, and we've probably heard this ad nauseum from so many people, so many books. But today I'll be sharing some experiences, some learnings that I have had personally and that I have learned from my master, Kamlesh D. Patel. His name is Daji. And this is him, if you'd seen, yeah, it's there in the book. So hopefully that resonates with you, and we all have something to take home at the end of the day. The first thing I'd like to begin is a personal story, actually. It's nothing too heavy, I promise. So the first time, my wonderful sister Saloni and Brenda and brother Dipanjan, they were telling me, they came up to me and they said, Shriram, we need, we have to go to this Interfaith. There's this place called Interfaith. And, you have to conduct a session there. And, people of different faiths come in, they present stuff, and then it's a very nice place. And Brenda had been a long timer, like Sister Sally mentioned. My first reaction was, I froze. Outward, I was smiling, I gave that smile. Oh yeah, of course, why not? I've done it in corporates. We all, and we've been meditating. But internally, I was freezing because the question that ran in my, and it was a very physical sensation, where you're thinking, I'm not sure how grounded am I in my own faith. I'm still figuring it out. Every time I think I figured it out, something new comes up. And it's like, and here I am going to a place called Interfaith. Forget my faith. These guys are Interfaith. And then Brenda kept telling, you're going to love Brother Jamal. And, he's the Imam. And the word Imam froze me even further because I do not know. I just know of, a few, maybe a few words from the Holy Quran. And I am like, how is this going to ever work? But then, their confidence in me superseded my confidence in myself. So I said, with a little bit of openness, a little bit of curiosity, I entered through those very doors the first time. This was in December. And the very first time, I might have mentioned this before as well, there was a strange sense of familiarity, a strange sense of belongingness, a strange sense of inclusivity, a feeling of safety. All of that, feeling where my nervous system froze, all of them vanished. And, it was so amazing to, experience that with, Sister Sally, Brother Jamal, Brother Chris and Sister Laila. It was fantastic. So I genuinely introspected, and this is very real, the wall of separation that I had, I thought it was outside. Was it really outside? Not really. It ended up being inside me. And that deeply resonated with me. And yet again, it was a very humble reminder that the only thing that stands between me and unity is myself. And time and again, this was a very beautiful reminder, I must say. And after that, I've been part of this family as well. So, now this is my home. So at first, Interfaith Sanctuary, the word interfaith used to come to my, spot. We only see that's, that appeals to us first. Although, there's Interfaith, Community, Sanctuary. But now the word sanctuary appeals to me more. And why? Because that's what even Heartfulness is all about. It is about experience, direct experience in short. Now, after this, I'll tell you another story of a guy. There was a person who was, again, think of it like, and imagine, it's of course a story. So he was living in a glass house, pristine, in the best environment you can think of, perhaps in Switzerland, or perhaps, since we are from Pacific Northwest, perhaps, in the Olympic National Park, somewhere deep down. And in a glass house, absolutely clear. And he had made a home, made fully out of glass. There was light flowing in. It was ideal, it was safe, it was warm, it was protected. And he had his, furniture and whatnot, the day-to-day stuff. And then he also had few trees, few plants rather, just as we all have at home. But then, over the years, the same house started appearing different. Why? Because the dust started getting collected. There was, his own dirt. There were stains. Probably his kid threw something on the window. I don't know. He never bothered to clean. And eventually, all the glass windows, the glass door, everything got stained. So what was really appearing as this beautiful, clear home now appeared very different. Not just that, the plants that he grew taller and taller and taller until they reached the ceiling. Because a plant grows into a tree, and that's what they did. Now, because of that, the tree spread out its branches, very healthy roots, but then they already started obstructing more light than there was. So now, on one hand, you have a bunch of stained glasses, the stained walls. So, a few walls were appearing red. So whenever he used to look out the window, everything used to appear red, and he would think, oh man, the world is very angry out there. It would trigger a sense of anger. And there were some parts which were bluish green, And then it would appear, everything would appear very melancholic. And the sad part was, he forgot what the house really was to start with. He started believing that, yeah, this is how I've been. And a time came where the home felt like a dark, dingy place, unlivable, and making him feel miserable. And he kept wondering, what changed? I know that this is not my home. This is my home, but this is not how it was. But then a time came where even he forgot what it was. And then he accepted that, yeah, of course, this is how life is. This is how my home is. Dark and dingy. Now, why am I saying this story? It's because most of us are in that situation today, just like the man in the glass house. If you see, that glass house is nothing but our own ego. Is ego bad? I mean, generally people say, oh yes, ego is super bad. Oh, he's an egoistic person. And then, and the conversation goes in that direction. But then, no, this glass house was providing a solid structure. It was providing safety. It was providing him room to grow. So ego was not really bad. It was doing him good to start with. But eventually, as time passed, it started getting stained. Now with most of us, and this is what happens, our life experiences, our conditionings, created by us, a few are imposed by our friends and family, as the society, all of that starts to get accumulated. And just like the person who forgot about how his original home looked like, we tend to identify ourselves, we internalize all these accumulations as part of us. And guess what? And then we ask, oh, why is there a separate self? That's the biggest joke, right? So in heartfulness, we recognize this problem. Meditation alone cannot solve this. So in heartfulness, we have a technique called as cleaning, wherein we actively work on letting things go on a day-to-day basis. Doesn't matter, good, bad, evil, anything that caused an emotional impression in me, we let it go, because that's not us. And every day, we are taught to bring us back to that state of purity, simplicity, and lightness, our original home. We are not going anywhere, we are just returning back to what we were. Now let's go back to that story. Imagine that, okay, now the walls are clean, somehow this awareness came in. Maybe the person started meditating the heartfulness way, mastered the cleaning. Now, there's still one problem. Did you guys notice the tree? The plant had grown and grown and grown until it became a beautiful tree. So beautiful with all its branches and healthy roots, a thick trunk, beautiful leaves. But then, the moment it touched the ceiling, it stopped growing. Right? Why is that? So if you really look at the comparison from our side, the ego is the ceiling. Right? So ego always builds a story that creates safety. It does not allow growth to happen beyond a certain point. Right? So then it says that, the tree thought that, I have arrived. I've grown to my fullest. I've reached the sky, I've touched the sky. Was it really the sky? No. And that's where we all get entangled in. The ego is 100%, it's a very subtle blocker in our spiritual path, because the ego itself starts to disguise as the path. Right? And who is most vulnerable? If you really think about it, who is most vulnerable to this kind of block? Most of us, or many of us, we start to have this feeling that, I've done the practice for many years. I've read so many books. I have such a deep understanding of concepts. I understand the state of interbeing. For example, I've read those kind of philosophies. Jiddu Krishnamurti nailed it. Right? But it is that itself that becomes the blocker. Because, again, knowledge is not the blocker. Right? If you observe, the plant grew into the tree. So all the attainments, all the achievements were not the issue. But creating an identity out of that becomes the issue. And that identity is the ego. So it's a very catch-22. We do the practice, we learn a bunch of things, we read books, we read philosophies, we probably even talk about philosophy, including myself right now. But living it is very different. The ego blocks it. So then this itself becomes, and it is so invisible, it's so subtle, that we cannot recognize it. And we feel validated. I'm a deeply spiritual person. That's how many times we used to introduce. I'm so spiritual. I love spirituality. You're not supposed to love spirituality. You're not supposed to love. This is I'm taking this quote from my master. He used to say, you're not supposed to love meditation. You're supposed to do meditation. So, what's the solution? Right? When we talk about interbeing, how do we get past this blocker? We got around the conditioning part of it. See, we cleaned those windows. We made it clear. But this, how do we break it? The only way is either you break the ego. But do we all love our egos being broken? Absolutely not. Right? Then, the solution, what is it? It is Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he says, and even Daji explains it further, it is humility. Humility, if ego is the ceiling, humility is the sky. But does it mean that we say that, from today onwards, okay, I'm going to be humble. I'm going to be absolutely humble, amazingly humble. Right. Mother Teresa humble, I love it. Is that going to work? Probably not. And why not? Because many of us have this misunderstanding of what humility is. Many times we think self-deprecation is humility. Right? Even at work, when I joined initially, more than a decade ago, I thought I was being humble by being quiet and then, just looking down and talking with so much respect until I got a feedback, hey, this guy's not working, this guy's not doing anything. Talk to his manager. So we misunderstand true humility as, some sort of self-deprecation. But my master Daji explains that true humility is what remains when the need to feel special dissolves. Please ponder over this deeply. True humility is what remains when the need to be special dissolves. Now, with this definition, the ego will feel threatened. because the ego always wants to feel special. We all want to feel special in our own way, right? And if you threaten that, and the more spiritual we are, the more threatened we feel, right? And if I were to be super vulnerable, that's perhaps what I experienced when I was asked to come to Interfaith. Because it's like, I know a bit of things, but I don't know what they are, so I don't want to be. It's that ceiling. So, true humility, the ego starts to resist. And then, which means we have to, then what is the solution to that? Because the ego thinks that, oh, I'm going to become invisible, I'm going to be diminished, and then it'll do whatever it takes to throw at it. And this is where the core aspect of heartfulness, another core aspect of heartfulness comes in, of amazing help, which is transmission, pranahuti. It is that divine essence. Again, it is not patented by heartfulness. Let me just tell you. It's just that in heartfulness, its transmission is used as a means and to provide one and all. So transmission is nothing but the divine essence that emanates from the source, and it can only be transmitted from heart to heart. It transcends all, the intellectual barriers, the physical barriers, everything. Directly it touches the soul. And what can really touch the soul? If you really think about it, it's nothing so fancy. It is just unconditional love. So in a way, if you see, transmission is nothing but unconditional love. Right? Can you define unconditional love? No. You can just feel it. So likewise, we also say transmission cannot be really defined. Its effects can be felt. Sounds very pedantic. But really speaking, it's just love. You feel deeply loved. And why is that relevant here? Because that glass house that we were out there to break open, we don't really need to do all that. This transmission goes in, when we meditate with transmission, it just creates a small crack. And then it seeps in, and a direct view of reality enters our system, our separate self. And if you remember, I explained, we remove the stains using cleaning, the cleaning technique. With that, we form more and more vacuum within ourselves. And this transmission starts to flow in and divinize this vacuum created. Not just that, so what happens? Our system starts to feel deeply loved. We start feeling deeply loved. And the moment we start deeply feeling loved, guess what happens? Our ego melts. There is no need to break the ego. There is no, Herculean task needed. It's just love. And that's what we are aspiring for. So when we meditate with the aid of transmission, meditation itself can help us, but transmission, it is like meditating in a very loving space. We understand that conceptually, If we meditate with some people who we really love, we feel nice and cozy. The same meditation you meditate with, totally random people, you might not feel so cozy, right? That is, a rough view of about how to, meditation works without transmission. But here, with the transmission, that energy acts like a catalyst because you're meditating with unconditional love. And so, we're able to tap into that divinity within our hearts more easily. Right? And the qualities such as humility, love. When there's humility, there's deep love. Love leads to devotion. Surrender. Right? What is surrender? When we are truly in a state of humility, it leads to surrender. So these are all results of a well done meditation. When we are able to hold on to the state that is created after meditation, when we interiorize that and make it our own, the result is humility. And I just spoke about what humility can do. Humility frees us. What is that humility? How is it freeing us? Because we still, as the ego threatened us as a separate self, oh, I need to maintain an image. I need to maintain my, dignity and, whole lot of things. Humility says you can retain your strengths, you can retain your talents, you can do your day-to-day work, but you don't need to feel burdened by having to always maintain that image, which is the root cause of that separation. So when we proceed in this path, aided by transmission, aided by cleaning, we start to interiorize more and more, and with more and more unconditional love, a point comes where interbeing just becomes a way of life. Nothing so fancy. Right? Because we are continuously growing in humility. So how can we imagine that today? The closest metaphor that Daji explains is like that of a submarine. Have you seen submarine, how it quietly keeps going in the ocean, deep down, making no waves. It continues to swim through the deep ocean. Likewise, we continue to live life in deep awareness, in deep resonance with that collective consciousness, that collective unconditional love, the shared heart. Right? And only just for whatever is needed, when needed for our day-to-day activities, we use our self-will, our ego, just when it is needed. Just like how the submarine, when it wants to see what's around above the water, it raises its periscope and then just checks, just when it needed. But other than that, it remains invisible. The goal here is to be not invisible. The goal is to be invisible, but in complete resonance with that interbeing, that shared collective consciousness. And that is what Heartfulness is here to offer. So with that short introduction, I'd love to, if you guys are okay, we can meditate with transmission today. And I'll guide you through a relaxation. You've heard a lot, so we want to calm down. So 5 minutes of relaxation, I'll guide you through, where we'll use a healing energy emanating from Mother Earth, and we'll allow it to flow through every part of our body and allow it to relax us. And then we will dive deep in our heart, and I'll guide you, and we'll sit with this intention that there is source of divinity already present in the heart. We are not there to create any light. We are not here to imagine any light. We are only tuning into that which already is. And let us all do that with a sense of curiosity, with a sense of unconditional love, just like the submarine. And remain absorbed. Okay? And this is a good time to remind yourself to put your phones on silent if you haven't already. So sit comfortably, close your eyes, and relax. Let's begin with the toes. Wiggle your toes and now feel them relax. Relax your ankles and feet. Now accept this healing energy emanating from Mother Earth. Allow it to move up into your feet, relaxing your feet and ankles. Relax your calf muscles. Relax your knees. Relax your thighs. Breathe in and let go. Relax. And now relax your hips, your waist and seat. Now allow this healing energy to flow through your back. Relax your lower back. Gently flowing further up, relax your upper back. And may the entire back feel deeply relaxed. Breathe in and let go. Relax. And now allow this healing energy to flow through your shoulders. Just drop all the burden you may be carrying on your shoulders and allow them to simply melt away. And now let this energy flow through your chest, releasing any tightness you may be feeling in your chest. And now allow this energy to flow into your stomach. And may your stomach muscles feel deeply relaxed. Now let this energy flow through your arms. Relax your upper arm. Relax each muscle in your forearm. Relax your hands. And let this energy ooze out right through your fingertips. Breathe in and let go. Relax. Now relax your neck muscles. Release any tightness you may be feeling in your neck muscles. Now gently move your attention to your face. Relax your jaws, your mouth, your facial muscles, your nose, your eyes. Relax your ears, your earlobes. Relax your forehead, your temples, which is the sides of the forehead, right up to the top and back of your head. Breathe in and let go. Relax. Now we shall proceed to meditate, and here's how we do it. Gently bring your attention to where you can feel your heart beat, to the very core of your being. And make this intention to yourself that the source of divine light is already present in my heart, and it is deeply attracting my attention inward. Remain completely absorbed in the love and light that's already present in the heart. If you have thoughts in between, it is totally okay. what do you do then? You just recognize that you got diverted by the thought and just gently nudge yourself back to the heart and continue to remain drowned, just like the submarine. Be open to any experiences and continue to meditate this way until you hear me say, that's all. Please continue to meditate. Continue to keep your eyes closed for a few more seconds. And try to feel this state that is created after meditation. And try to feel this flow out of you. Allow it to flow to all your loved ones. Intensify it. May all experience this inner peace more and more. May this love be filled in all the hearts of all brothers and sisters. And may real faith grow stronger in them. And make this intention finally that you will retain and intensify this inner condition and allow it to keep flowing throughout the day. And when you feel settled from inside, you may gently open your eyes. Take your time. So thank you everyone for joining us today. I'll leave you with just one final thought. So throughout the talk and the meditation, we explored a practical approach. How can meditation help in achieving this state of interbeing? I would like to leave you all with something to ponder, that once we arrive at this state of interbeing, what would we really like to do with it? So I encourage everyone to ponder over this, and thank you everyone, and feel free to share any experiences, any questions, answers. The stage is open.
Forgot. My question has to do with practices that help quiet the busy mind. So when often for me, and recently I've been trying to practice some meditation, and I find it difficult because my mind keeps wandering. You know, I know, gently bring it back. But if you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear them.
That's a wonderful question. And honestly, that's not a bad thing. Nature of the mind is to think. So many of us think that meditation is a way where we shut off the mind, quieten the mind. Think of it like a child. If the child is making a lot of noise and throwing tantrums, what are you going to do to the child? Tape its mouth? What do? We give it a timeout at the max, right? So just like that, our mind is so tuned to thinking that it tends to behave that way. But over time, when we meditate with the help of this transmission, That's where that love brings us back to that original love that's already there within us. It's not that we don't have love, the divine essence is there within us. But this acts like a catalyst. The second thing that will really help is this practice of cleaning that I talked about. At the end of the day, what are these thoughts that are coming so obsessively? When you are doing a power wash, all the dirt comes out, right? When you do a power wash, have you seen it just splutters? That's exactly what's happening in the mind. So our heart is a storehouse of so many emotional impressions that when we start to clean, they all show up. And how do they show up? In the form of thoughts. So practically when you're doing that, one thing could be you can remind yourself and go back to the heart. That's one. But there are levels, sometimes it's so aggressive. I totally can resonate with you. If it is going to a point where it's just not happening, feel free to open your eyes, look around, and then close back your eyes and go back to the heart. If that doesn't help, the next plan of action is okay, open your eyes, take out a book, read a book for a few minutes, go back. So it depends on what stage we are in, and that doesn't define us. The thoughts come to leave us. The idea is not to identify with those thoughts. Just think that when you're driving on a freeway, there are so many cars out there. But do we really mind everything? No, we just keep driving. We remain unmindful and we just keep driving. Or are we going to honk at everything? Every car? No. So that's probably how I would tackle, that's how I've been tackling in my case. And meditating with a trainer really, really helps me. Because there is more cleaning that happens. And the more vacuum that is created, the lesser the thoughts start to bother us and we start going deeper.
If you don't mind sharing, I would like to hear a little about what inspired you to take this journey and pursue this path that you're on.
India, I'm from India. So India is often called the land of spirituality. Many times we hear these kind of things. Not that others aren't, but India is more referred. But for me, the US is actually the land of spirituality because that's what brought me into this practice. Because only when the fish is out of the water, it realizes the importance of the water. So I wasn't really seeking for anything esoteric, anything fanciful. It just happened that I was doing my master's in UT Dallas, and I had my project mate. He used to be always cheerful. I thought he was faking. So I was like, what's the catch? And then I prodded him, And a decade ago, there was no heartfulness session like what we did now. It was just, if you know, you know. The core idea was hearts that are craving will automatically, it's like the bee will find the flower. That was the original, pre-social media thing. I'm just being, honest here. So I was very gifted that something within me, since childhood I always felt that there's something greater that I'm not able to understand. And it is my religion, my upbringing, the teachings from my parents that probably shaped me to seek. But after that, this friend introduced me to heartfulness, and a point came where I started experiencing deep levels of peace. And mind you, even when I felt peace, I got scared. And that's when I now understand that even abundance sometimes is scary. It's like you question. It's the doubting heart. Like why, I hear some people sometimes, why are you being nice to me? They ask such questions. Because we are so tuned to doubt, right? But over time, my experiences kept growing. And your heart starts to give the answers. Your intuition starts to get fine-tuned. And that's what I experienced. So it was just like, I guess I treat experiences like the carrot stick. And slowly, and then whatever is spoken in the religious texts start to make even more sense, right? I never knew about, say, anything about Christianity or Quran. But thanks to this system, I started understanding, because my previous guide, he used to make us understand from these texts as well. And coupled with your own experience, you know that, oh yeah, so you don't need to read that sun rises in the east and sets in the west. You see the sun, it's right there, right? That's the difference. And that's what's been keeping me going.
Well, this has been very beautiful and wonderful, and a very wonderful experience, very experiential. Thank you. And everything, the music was experiential. We had I meditate when I listen to music, so that was how the process started for me. And I think that don't fear the mountain. That stayed with me. You did that earlier, but it came back in my meditation. So I thank you for that. And I just want to encourage everybody to stay with whatever you experience today and let it blossom within you. You might find that something emerges, and it will. I definitely thank you all for presenting us with this deeply experiential wisdom this morning. I do need to mention a few things before we come to a closing, and we will meet downstairs after we close for the guiding council meeting. We do have a time in our service here when we share our wealth with our community, so that we can keep the building open and the lights on and the heat going in the winter, and all the wonderful repairs that need to be done on the building throughout the year. So if you have some to spare and it moves you, you can place it in the bowl. I know the people at home give their donations online. You can also do that. There's a QR code if you don't carry cash. But we need to keep this building going if we're going to keep meeting here. And we thank you all who do all the work to help keep it up, and all the volunteer hours that go into that, and all the generosity that people give it. We have events every day of the week here. We have evening meditation groups. We have a meditation group on Thursday evening, Sitting in Silence. It's been going for years, and George is our great meditation leader for that. And we have, we're going to be starting a Zoom class, I think, with the Heartfulness people that we're going to put on the calendar soon. We talked about that. I told Shriram and Brenda that I thought it would be more effective to start it after you had presented, because now we know what that might be like. So if you've been inspired by this meditation, then we'll be in touch through the announcements as to when we're going to start that up. It'll probably start out on Zoom, I think we decided. And also we have a Native American Medicine Circle, which meets once a week, and we have a Course in Miracles. We have people who get together to study books and to enrich their spiritual life through various practices. So check our website. Sign up for our announcements every Monday. We send out a little email about upcoming gatherings, special events that are happening. For those of us who are celebrating Ramadan, we have the Night of Destiny celebration coming up on Friday, March 13th. Is that it? Thank you. I don't have my calendar in front of me. And that'll be here in the evening, starting, I think, about 6 o'clock. We start our program, and then we have a service explaining what the Night of Destiny is all about, and the night when the first words of the Holy Quran were revealed to the Prophet Muhammad. And then we break our fast around 6:45, and then we have a special dinner. We have our prayer. All are welcome to participate in Islamic prayer. And then we go downstairs and have a beautiful potluck dinner to share with everybody. So we welcome all folks to that, and we it's a highlight of Ramadan for most of us. We go through the month, and the night of destiny comes, and it's a very beautiful celebration. So thank you for thinking about being part of that. And we will have that live stream. Thank you to Zach, who's going to make sure that gets on the live stream page for us. So I know that there are many other events coming up, but we're running slow on time. We're running out of time right now. So let's gather together. We can hold hands. We can say goodbye to our friends out in cyberspace and thank them for being here.